everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I've been married to a covert narcissist for almost 20 years. I'm separated from him now, and what I do with this channel is I use my real life experiences to get information out there to people about what narcissism really is, what it looks like, what it does to you, and what it does to your family. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some things to consider if you are in a relationship with a narcissist. Narcissists are highly abnormal men and women who are mentally ill with a personality disorder. So by definition, they violate basic social norms, they lack empathy, they're entitled, they create their own reality, and they don't care about anybody else. So if you are in a relationship with somebody like this, you are going to be the only one giving, the only one loving, the only one working towards a future. That isn't a relationship. If this is you, if you're doing all the giving and the other person is doing all the taking, it's a charity, not a relationship. And on top of it, if you're with a narcissist, not only are they doing all the taking, but there's going to be periods of extreme cruelty from this person. They are malicious. They're vicious people. They have no conscience, no morality, no ability to care about anybody else. So you need to ask yourself some hard questions when you're in a situation like this. The reason that I have this channel is because I was in a relationship with a narcissist for 20 years and I have deep regrets. I wish I could change things, but obviously I can't go back in time and do things differently. But what I can do is help other people recognize the reality sooner than I did. Really will benefit you if you can recognize these things early and do something about it. With that said, if you are in a relationship and it's been 20 years for you, or maybe longer, maybe it's been 30 years or even longer than that, I would still tell you the exact same thing. It's never too late. I really believe this. Now, I am an optimist, and optimism benefits me greatly, and it would benefit anybody. It's never too late to start your life over, ever. If you recognize this and you are 80 years old, I would tell you the exact same thing. If you have one day left to live, I would tell you the exact same thing. When you are away from the narcissist, your life will improve. Now, just a caveat for that is it is difficult to leave a narcissistic relationship. There will be a period of transition, and a narcissist can get ugly. But the freedom on the other side of that is worth any pain. It will get better. It does get better. You can start over. Once you're away from the narcissist, you can breathe again. You can have real joy. You saw almost like when you're with the narcissist, life was in black and white, and now you're away from the narcissist and life is in color, and it's a beautiful world. That's what is waiting for you. So the first thing to consider if you are in a relationship with a narcissist is that narcissists are capable of unconscionable behavior. Never underestimate what a narcissist is capable of doing. Somebody who lacks empathy and has no morals is capable of doing anything. And that's your situation if you're with a narcissist. And on top of that, narcissists also have a very high regard for themselves. They consider themselves better than you, better than everybody else. So somebody with all those traits is going to level you. I really look at it. Picture yourself in your house. Like I'll picture myself. I'm cooking in my kitchen, and all of a sudden now I see a fly flying around. Well, that's annoying me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill the fly, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. That's what a narcissist feels about you. You are like that fly. You're annoying them. They don't want to deal with you. They're just going to hit you with their shoe. This is what it is. Now, with myself, if there's a bug in my house, generally I try to take it outside and not kill it. But with a fly, they're really hard to catch, and they're so annoying. They're constantly landing on your food. It's gross. So I do kill them, and I don't feel bad about it. I don't sit there and think, oh no, I hope it didn't hurt when I killed it. Or, oh no, does this fly have a family? Oh no, is it not going to go home to its fly family? You're not thinking like that. It was annoying. You kill it and you move on with your day. That's what a narcissist does with you. You're an annoyance. They hurt you. They don't care. They've shut you up, and now they're going to be happy and move on with their day. In my own personal situation, my ex stole money from our kids. He drove drunk with my kids. He tried to get me arrested by lying to the police. I mean, this is him, like it was hitting the fly with the shoe. He didn't care. He didn't feel guilty about this. It didn't bother him that he stole from his own children. It didn't bother him that he tried to get me arrested. Now, it didn't work, but I can tell you right now, if I had been arrested, if he was watching me have handcuffs put on, put into a squad car, and driven away from the house, he would have been just fine. In fact, he would have been satisfied. He would have slept just fine that night in the bed, not worried about me in jail, not trying to get me out, not having regret about what he did. This is the type of thing that you are dealing with. There are no limits. There are no boundaries when it comes to a narcissist. Now, in the same vein, a narcissist doesn't love anybody. They can't love you. They don't feel empathy. They don't feel love. They don't have these emotions. I mean, that's part of their mental illness. Love is an intense feeling of deep affection. It's wanting the best for somebody else, and there's a willingness to easily do things for that person or that animal. A narcissist doesn't have those feelings. They don't have any regard for you. They can have fond feelings for you. They can enjoy your company at times, or they could want to have sexual relations with you. I mean, that feels good. So the narcissist can want those things, but there's a difference between enjoying hanging out with you for an afternoon or having sex with you and having a deep, loving, selfless commitment. Now, I have a great example of love, but it's kind of gross, so I'm going to warn you ahead of time. So we have backyard chickens, and over the weekend we had trouble with one of the chickens. And this has happened a couple of times, and when this has happened, I've been able to fix it within a couple hours. This particular time, it took me 2 days to fix the problem. One of our chickens had an anal prolapse. So what that is basically her butt was inside out. So when this happens, it's a real problem, because if it's not treated, if it's not fixed, the area is going to completely dry out and the animal's going to die. So we're really worried about this, and I was having trouble fixing it. So we're dealing with this, and the way that you fix it, really the most important thing is to keep the area moist. You cannot let it dry out, and you have to keep pushing it back in. So it's kind of gross. You got to put your fingers right up in the chicken's butt, but that is how you fix it, and you give them high levels of calcium, and it eventually corrects itself. So I was dealing with this, I was trying to fix it, and it was not working. So I was constantly trying to keep the area lubricated, but on Sunday I had to go to work, and my daughter knew I was upset and worried about this. So she said to me, "You know what, can you show me how to fix the problem so that I can take care of her for you during the day?" So my daughter knew I was upset about this, knew I was worried, knew it was going to be a problem if I was leaving for 8 hours and nobody was taking care of the chicken. So I showed her what to do. So my 17-year-old daughter, every single hour, I had the chicken in my bathroom. She went into my bathroom. She put either Preparation H or honey, that actually reduces swelling. So she put those on her fingers and she pushed the chicken butt inside, held the chicken for 15 minutes, because when we were holding her, it would stay in, but as soon as we put her down, it would come back out. She did this for me and for the bird, because she loved the bird. But this is an example of love. She did, it's disgusting. I mean, it's a gross thing to do. It feels gross to put your fingers inside a chicken butt. I'm just going to tell you it's gross. But she did that because she loved me and because she loved the chicken. So she just did it. She was so sweet all day long. She was texting me when I was at work, telling me what was going on with the chicken. It was so sweet. I mean, that's love. That's somebody that has a heart, that can care. This is just a bird, and she cares about this bird. My ex doesn't care about anybody. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about his kids. He doesn't care about anybody that he knows. Just the stark contrast here. So that's an example of what real love is. And I'm happy to report that the chicken is doing great. It's staying in now. The anal prolapse has been fixed, and she's outside in the coop with her buddies, and everything is perfect. But that's an example of love. And that's something that you're not going to get from a narcissist. A narcissist can be extremely malicious and destructive when provoked. So you have to ask yourself, what is the point of investing in a relationship when there is no emotional intimacy? The narcissist will not do anything for you. The narcissist is only out for themselves. Another consideration for you if you're in a relationship with a narcissist is to understand the painful reality that they know what they are doing. I used to believe that my ex didn't know what he was doing. And it's absurd when I really think about it, but he would give me silent treatments. That was his favorite method of really hurting me. And when he would give me these silent treatments, I would cry. I would tell him how hurt I was, how upset I was, how much pain I was in. So even just forgetting anything else I'm about to say, he has ears, they work, he has a brain. I'm telling him these things. So he hears me, he knows just for the fact that I'm telling him. But on top of that, narcissists have the ability, if you think about it, you're with a narcissist, these are people that act very different at home than they do in public. Right there, that tells you that they have the ability to control it. If they couldn't control their behavior, they would act the same way to everybody. They would always be the same. They wouldn't be one way with you and another way with everybody else. So a narcissist knows what they're doing. They're not out of control. In fact, narcissism is actually a mental illness that's very much about control. The problem isn't that they're out of control. The problem is that they don't care. They're not helpless. They want to control you. Also, to consider, a narcissist can't be changed. You can't change a narcissist. You can't change anybody, really. I used to believe when I first found out about narcissism, I thought, oh my gosh, this is really good, actually. We can work on this together. I'll tell him about this problem, and then we can fix it together. I mean, I was living in fantasy world when I thought that. The reality is that a healthy person could hear your concerns or to contemplate your input. Even if they don't agree, they could hear it and look at themselves. I could look at myself in the mirror. I'm aware that I'm not a perfect person. So if you were my friend and you said something to me that you thought maybe I should know about, I could hear you. I wouldn't flip out on you. Maybe I wouldn't agree with you, but I could hear you. And if I thought, yeah, geez, you know what, you're right, I could work on making these changes. That isn't how it is with a narcissist. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They are better than you. Remember, people with narcissism have an overblown self-image. They have an inexhaustible need for admiration and that lack of empathy. So they believe to their core that they're better than you. So if somebody really believes they're better than somebody else, you're not going to want to hear what this person has to say. Narcissists will not change. In order for a narcissist to change, because I don't want people to say, well, yeah, they could change. Yes, technically, but this is what would have to happen for a narcissist to change, for anybody to change. They would have to be able to look at themselves in the mirror, really see themselves, look at themselves honestly, and see negative things about them. That would be almost impossible for a narcissist because part of the disorder is that they have a high level of, they think highly of themselves, right? They don't think negatively of themselves. They think negatively of you. And if you bring up something about them that they don't like, they don't want to hear it, they're going to punish you. Maybe they'll give you a silent treatment. Maybe they'll yell at you. Maybe they'll cheat on you. Who knows? A narcissist will punish you. That's part of what they do. They are not going to hear what you have to say and change. You're living in fantasy land if you think that that is going to happen. Narcissists know what they're doing. They enjoy hurting people. So nothing you say, no amount of love that you give them are going to change them. And the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to touch on something I kind of already said already, a narcissist is not capable of empathy or remorse. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. So basically, you can put yourself in somebody else's shoes. A narcissist is completely self-centered. Literally, no one else matters. But there's also the added component of a lack of remorse. Narcissists will hurt the people that count on them. They'll hurt their families, and they live just fine with it. It's been difficult for me to accept that my own ex doesn't have any feelings for his kids. He has hurt My kids tremendously, particularly my son. He's really struggled with some things that his father has done. And I've tried to talk to him about this. Not my son, well, my son too, but my ex. Particularly my son was really traumatized when my ex would give me silent treatments. It was really a problem for him. He was distraught over it because my ex would come home from work, completely ignore me, and act super nice to the kids. Now, he wasn't typically like that. He was not a very involved father to begin with, but when he would give me a silent treatment, he would pretend like he really cared about the kids. And my kids aren't stupid. I mean, they could see what he was doing. My daughter never, it was a little different with my daughter because she was just so sick of him, and she's a little bit older. She was just done with him. I think really for her, she stopped having feelings for him a long time ago, and that made it a little bit easier for her. It was different for my son. He wanted his father to change. I mean, he wanted his father to treat me well. My son is really protective of me, and it bothered him when my ex did this. So he would come to me distraught, talking about it, asking me why he won't talk to me, what's wrong with him, why won't daddy do this? So I would tell my ex, I would say, look, our son is really upset about this. You can't keep doing this. And he would just look right past me. He didn't care. He was punishing me. That's what mattered the most. Today, my ex doesn't live at the house. He doesn't see the kids. There's no remorse. There's no regret. It's a painful reality. But I'm telling you this so that you can understand, like, this is how it is for any narcissist. It isn't just my ex. This is how it is for anyone who's in a relationship with a narcissist. This is how they feel. Like I said, narcissism is a mental illness. It's the symptoms that make the illness. So everybody who has narcissism, some will have varying degrees of the symptoms. Some are worse than others, but these are the symptoms, right? It's like anything else. If I have a cold, I'm going to have a runny nose, I'm going to have a fever, I'm going to have a cough. That's how I know I have a cold. Someone has narcissism, they have narcissism because they lack empathy. They're out of control. They don't care about anybody else. They don't have the ability to love. All these things are universal to all narcissists. So my point in today's video is that if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, please consider the reality of your situation. I used to believe, and I'm a positive person. I have hope that things can change, and, everybody can change. But it's important to understand your limitations when you are with a narcissist. This is somebody that is mentally ill. You deserve to have a good life. You deserve to have a future. Please don't tie yourself down to somebody who is mentally ill with no hope for change. Or don't think, well, they could. Maybe one day they'll look at themselves in the mirror and see how they are, because a narcissist has the ability to love bomb occasionally. So every once in a while, you'll see this person that you wish they could always be. Understand what narcissism really is and ask yourself, do you want to commit your life to this? Life is short. You don't know how long your life is going to be. Maybe you'll live to 100. Maybe you'll live to 40. You don't know, but you do know who the narcissist is. And I know it's scary. I have been there. I've been terrified. Even now, like I said in yesterday, or 2 days ago, the video, I'm starting divorce proceedings this summer. I'm afraid of that. I'm worried about that because I know my ex isn't a nice person and he's not going to care if he hurts me or hurts the kids. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to stay in my house. And what am I going to do? I have animals. I have the chickens in the backyard. What am I going to do? It's scary, but I'm determined to move forward because I want to have a better life. I want to have a new relationship and I want to start my life over. And I can't do that if I stay married to somebody because I'm afraid. You have to conquer your fear so that you can start your life over. And I know starting your life over is a daunting task and you wish you didn't have to do it. And you think, well, maybe it could work out. If you're with a narcissist, just the reality, it's not going to work out. And I'm so sorry. I hate saying that because I know how I felt at the beginning when I really didn't want to hear that. But I am your friend. And I'm telling you, I want what's best for you. And the reality is, if you're with a narcissist, that isn't what is best for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Truly, I'm grateful. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. And if all goes well, I will see you in Friday's video. God bless everybody, and you can do this.